$300,000. That's what it cost Maple Ridge HOA to pump water out of their own flooded streets, all because Ruth Langford, our beloved HOA president, decided my backyard creek made her bland mansion look uninspired. I'm Henry Lawson, a retired hydrologist. And if you think HOA horror stories can't get worse than fines for mailbox paint, wait till you hear how Ruth buried my engineered creek in cement at 2 a.m. and then drowned her own street in karma. When I bought my house on Sycamore Lane, the realtor warned me about a low spot behind the fence, a marshy depression everyone called an eyesore. I saw it for what it was, opportunity. 35 years designing flood management for cities made me appreciate what a simple runoff basin could do. So, while my neighbors peeked through their blinds whispering about the weird old man with survey gear, I spent that first winter charting the land's contours, testing soil, listening to the natural flow. My late wife Margaret always said, "Listen to water, and you'll know how to build peace." By spring, I'd shaped that marsh into something magical, a closed-loop stream that filtered rain naturally through native plants and tiny rock pools. Solar pumps kept the current gentle but constant, the way Margaret would have loved. People noticed. Evenings, kids tossed breadcrumbs to the koi. Couples strolled over my wooden bridge, snapping selfies. It became the neighborhood's secret escape, except it didn't stay secret for long. Ruth Langford never liked competition. She'd ruled Maple Ridge HOA for 10 years, parading her colonial as the crown jewel on every realtor tour. That spring, word got out. Buyers wanted to end tours at my creek, not her bland stone porch. When the local paper ran a spread titled Henry's Hidden Oasis, Ruth's scowl could have curdled fresh paint. 3 days later, an HOA violation letter stuffed in my mailbox. Unauthorized modification of natural drainage. Potential flood hazard. Cease all water flow immediately. Signed, Ruth Langford, HOA president. I chuckled. Stopping water? Might as well command clouds to hold their rain. I responded the way any hydrologist would. A 40-page binder of soil tests, runoff models, percolation rates, and historical rainfall data. Certified mail, return receipt requested. I even offered to present it at the next HOA meeting. In the meantime, Ruth went full dictator. Angry posts on the neighborhood forum about property values, doom-laden flyers about skyrocketing insurance, and scary rumors about my illegal fish pond. But for every fearmonger, 5 neighbors shared photos of kids feeding the koi or posted about how my garden made them feel safe when storms rolled through. The battle lines were drawn. Team Ruth versus Team Creek. The emergency flood risk meeting was a circus. I walked into the community clubhouse and nearly laughed. Security guards at the door, a projector on stage. Ruth perched behind a gavel like a discount judge. Her so-called expert was her brother-in-law Gary, a self-styled water systems consultant who hadn't worked since the housing bubble burst. Gary's PowerPoint looked like it was made in MS Paint, featuring ridiculous graphics of tsunami waves smashing Maple Ridge from a backyard creek. When Ruth invited questions, she only called on her allies, her best friend Marilyn, the landscaping contractor Doug, the same cronies who got HOA contracts no one else could bid for. Finally, my old friend Bill Morgan, a retired city engineer, stood up uninvited. "This is laughable," Bill boomed. "I built half the culverts in this county. Henry's Creek is a textbook retention basin. If anything, it prevents street flooding." The room broke into applause, except Ruth, who slammed her gavel so hard she nearly snapped it. "Order. Order. This meeting is concluded. The board has already voted. The creek must be removed within 30 days, or legal action will follow." I just smiled. "See you in court, Ruth." Turns out, Ruth wasn't patient enough for court. She wanted my creek dead now. 3 weeks later, my phone buzzed at midnight. An anonymous text. "Check your security feed." I did. 2 trucks, lights off, rolling to my backyard. Logos on the doors. Langford Contractors, Ruth's cousin's company. Workers unloaded bags of quick-set concrete and portable mixers. And there she was herself, sitting smug in her Lexus, barking orders through the window. I nearly stormed outside. But Margaret's voice echoed in my head. Let fools write their own downfall. So I stayed put and filmed every second. By dawn, my creek was a gray scar. Fish dead, plants suffocated, the wooden bridge half buried. 30 years of peace and flow, smothered in one vengeful night. Funny thing about water, though, block it, and it finds a way. Rain hit 2 days later. A Texas spring storm. Inches per hour. My basin, once an overflow buffer, was now a concrete dam. Water backed up instantly. Storm drains choked. Driveways turned to rivers. And Ruth's beloved mansion? Built on the lowest lot in the cul-de-sac. She woke up wading through 3 feet of runoff. By dusk, fire crews were ferrying her furniture out in canoes. News vans rolled up when neighbors called local stations. Flood zone? Never had one. Until our HOA president cemented a creek. Ruth, wrapped in a sopping bathrobe, pointed a shaking finger at me while reporters filmed. "This is his fault," she shrieked. I just shrugged. "Tell it to Mother Nature, Ruth." She didn't stop there. With her house a swamp, Ruth called an emergency assessment meeting in a borrowed church hall. The clubhouse was underwater. Standing before furious neighbors, she declared, "To protect our community, we must pump out floodwater at once." Estimated cost, $300,000. Every household owes $1,200, due immediately. Dead silence. Then a lone voice. Bill Morgan, again. Or we could ask Ruth why she hired her cousin to pour concrete in the middle of the night. The room exploded. People demanded receipts. Someone shouted about calling the DA. Ruth tried to gavel them down. Her hand shook so bad she dropped it. Then the hero moment. Sarah Lee, local reporter posing as a new neighbor for weeks, stood up calmly. "Actually, I have security footage and signed invoices. Want to see?" It all unraveled fast after that. The DA opened an investigation. Ruth's cousin flipped, handing over texts proving Ruth paid him under the table with HOA money. The board, terrified of being sued, voted to suspend her immediately. Meanwhile, my lawyer filed a countersuit. Destruction of property, harassment, defamation. Ruth's last move? A desperate lawsuit blaming me for the flood damage, which backfired spectacularly in court. The judge threw it out in 5 minutes. Then scolded Ruth publicly for turning a neighborhood into a wading pool out of petty jealousy. Ruth's house? Foreclosed to pay fines. Her Lexus? Repossessed. Her power? Gone forever. Me? I didn't lift a single shovel in revenge. I let water and karma handle everything. Neighbors came together to fix what Ruth destroyed. Bill led a crew of volunteers to chip out concrete chunk by chunk. Kids painted rocks to line the stream's edge. A local landscaper donated new Japanese maples. Even the city pitched in, praising my design as a model for eco-friendly storm control. 6 weeks later, the creek sang again. Even better than before. We renamed it Margaret's Flow, in memory of the woman whose wisdom taught me to trust water and patience. At the rededication, little Ethan Moore handed me a crayon drawing of the creek, blue water, orange koi. A big wooden bridge. At the top, in crooked letters, "Thank you for our happy creek, Mr. Henry." I looked around, neighbors laughing, kids skipping stones. People once divided by gossip now united by a trickle of running water. And Ruth? She sent one letter from county jail before she vanished from our lives. "I see what I ruined. I'm sorry. I hope they forgive me someday." Or .L. I kept it, not as pity, but as proof of a simple truth. You can dam a creek. You can bully a neighbor. You can write 1,000 rules. But water, like truth, finds its level. And karma flows right behind it. So next time your HOA thinks they rule the rain, smile, wait, and let nature do its work.